Hello. Is Conor McGregor really an asshole?
Conor, when I look at Conor's a big talker.
When I knock people out, they don't fucking move. They're like, who the fuck is that guy?
I match up horrible for this guy. Conor, do you know what wrestling is?
I can rest my balls on your forehead.
I have an unhealthy obsession with spending money, but I have a healthy obsession with making it.
I've ridiculed everyone on the roster. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
But if so, who's this guy?
Sorry. We'll go again.
You feel for that. That can happen. You know, you don't want to see it like that. It would have maybe a little bit stretched out, but
I don't like looking at these things either, you know. At the end of the day, we are all competitors. Nothing but respect from my competitors, that we all need each other at the same time, you know.
his last wish is to talk on the phone to you, and I rang the kid and we talked for a long time. I talked with his friends in the hospital, his family, and last night he passed away, so it my head up because this little kid is in Ireland, and I'm telling the kid I'm gonna take this belt and I'm gonna bring the belt to you and we'll raise the belt. They were thinking maybe if he got a little bit better we could fly him out to Vegas, and I don't know, it's just a really sad situation, and it's heartbreaking. I don't know. Would have been nice if I could have maybe, I don't know.
The way he slammed TJ, why would he do that?
Ah, there's a little snake in the grass right there.
What's up,
Hey, little boy.
How's it going?
Are you lost?
Definitely lost.
So you were with Dwayne?
Yeah, he's a good coach.
And what, he took you out of college? He took you out of college and you just ditched him?
No, I'm still there.
No, you ain't still there.
This clip will give some insight.
Is it not true that people used to pick on you, fend them off?
Yeah, definitely walking.
Would they beat you up?
Yeah, no, you know, I've definitely got into fights. I got jumped a couple of times. No, I was surrounded by people who maybe I thought were my friends at the time, you know, but then you get jumped by a group of people and then you know what, they're not my fucking friends.
Conor was bullied as a child, even jumped by people who proclaimed to be his friend. This was probably a huge factor as to why he keeps his circle small, only keeping around him people he can trust, valuing loyalty and consistency due to the lesson from his troubled childhood.
People are throwing, let's be honest, people are throwing themselves
I
at
just
you.
keep my circle small and that's it. Nobody gets in and nobody gets out.
And so when he sees people running off from the hands that fed them, TJ leaving Uriah for Dwayne, it triggers Conor. It infuriates him.
And I respect loyalty a lot, but I absolutely despise people who are disloyal, people who bite the hand that feeds them. I cannot relate to that in any way.
Perhaps because it triggers recollection of a time when people abandoned him, pretending to be on his side, pretending to be his friend. And his heavy emphasis on making money. Conor was called a waster growing up, a child with no future, and on top of that, giving up his plumbing career to become a mixed martial artist in a part of the world, Ireland, where nobody saw a future in it. You know, boxing heavily dominated the market. How could an Irishman make it big in MMA when there were no Irishmen in MMA? As a result, struggling to get by with the support of his girlfriend and the doll, which is welfare.
My girlfriend has been there from the start. She's helped me throughout this career. If it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. So definitely I look to spoil her. She does not work anymore. I essentially hired her to the business, but she works for me now. So it's
In what capacity?
I mean, she collects the checks, that's what she...
He worked with the vision of making life good for everyone who stood by him, to create a life where he didn't have to worry about these things, about his girlfriend supporting him, to be able to give back to the people who stood by him. That's why money is so important to him. What about how he flaunts his material wealth? He feels every right to enjoy it because he feels no one works harder than him in the game. But I think there's something deeper to this as well. In Muhammad Ali, they have the answer we're looking for.
Elijah Muhammad Ali used to have a little old house, a real house, trying to be humble, and all the Negro preachers of Christianity will say to their followers, how can Elijah Muhammad be from God? He lives in a shack. Shouldn't God be able to bless him with a nice home? He wanted to be humble. He could have had a big home. He drove a little old car in his younger days trying to be humble. but they think you don't have nothing. People don't respect you when you look like you don't have no money. I'm trying to wake up my people and help them. So I have to have these things.
Muhammad Ali flaunted his possessions because if he didn't, no one would listen to him. And Conor, being a huge fan of Muhammad Ali,
I take inspiration and motivation from absolutely everything and anything, you know. For me, obviously, Muhammad Ali was probably my first combat sports star that I looked up to. But I've been shaped by many people. But thank you for that compliment again. It's a comparison that's been thrown at me a few times, but I cannot accept a comparison like that. Muhammad Ali is a special man. He changed culture, period. So, but again, I am honored to even be put in that bracket by some people.
Studying him thoroughly, he probably picked that up from him as well. Conor actually studied everyone, taking inspiration from anywhere and everywhere, doing his best to take in anything and everything that would help aid his reign to the top. And he realized that all the greats who amassed a huge fortune had an element of cockiness to them. Muhammad Ali embodied these characteristics as well, and was legitimately hated for it. But when it came down to the truth, he was a human rights activist, a man with a great deal of empathy, who would put himself out there to save you, even when he could have looked the other way very easily.
Had all but given up trying to change the despondent man's mind when Muhammad Ali, who happened to be nearby, volunteered to talk to him. The former heavyweight champion went to a window and reportedly yelled, "I'm your brother, I want to help you." Recognizing Ali, the man finally opened the fire escape door and Ali approached him on the ledge. It was a very tense 20 minutes.
Conor looked at these people. He looked at Prince Nassim Hamed, Roy Jones, looked at Floyd, Bruce Lee, Ali. All these people who made a name for themselves, and realized they were all loud. That the people who made it to the top had that element of cockiness to them. To give back to his family, his girlfriend, all the people who supported him.
I can do what I've been dreaming of doing, giving back to people who have given so much to me. I always visualize what giving would feel like, giving to people who have given to me, what that would feel like. I always dreamed of just showing up one day and be like, here.
Whilst being called a waster, he was willing to do anything to win, even if it wasn't truly who he was. And he justifies it by saying it's the truth.
When you tell a man, I've said it before again, when you tell a man the truth, he can...
Trying not to think about it because deep down, he doesn't actually enjoy it. He doesn't enjoy watching himself in the interviews or the trash-talking segments.
I'm not doing this for this. I'm not doing this for fake acting and pretending I can, you know what I mean? Trying to give emotion to some guy that wants emotion from me. I don't do this for that. But I understand that it's a double-edged sword and you must do that.
He openly admits this. He does it because he feels like he has to. Because at the end of the day, that's what you really want. And actually, off camera, he's a very different person. Donald Cerrone confronting Conor.
Jesus. Yeah. You're calling fucking Ireland or what?
How's the buddy?
Good.
Yeah, ready to go again. Alright, nice. Yes, it is. It's all about the money.
All about the money.
He says it's for the money. Jose Aldo, stating Conor is a completely different person when the cameras are off. Quote, "I've seen him standing facing the wall, staring at nothing, and everyone is trying to provoke him. And he has a glazed look. He's a normal, quiet guy. If you see a camera or an Irish person close, he turns. Outside, you see him laughing, joking, talking usual. But then, he turns in such a way that makes you think, son of a Jose Aldo." Overall, he started fighting because he was bullied, and he wanted to be able to protect himself. He found he had a natural aptitude and became passionate about it.
This guy does a bit of training, or does something, we just watch him, and we just leave him alone. That was how I started doing it. And then, turns out, I was good at it, you know what I mean? And that's it, I just got lost in it then, and I became more than just that.
Learned from the wealthiest and the greatest studying them, and now replicates their behavior with tremendous success. In reality, if those things did not work, if being humble worked, he would be humble. If making noise didn't work, he would happily not be making any noise. He does it because he feels like he has to give himself and his family the best in life. And if you look at the Catch Me Outside girl, her making millions, we as a species pay attention to what is loud, what is remarkable.
The thing
that's going to decide what gets talked about, what gets done, what gets changed, what gets purchased, what gets built, is it remarkable?
If it's the same, we will say it's nice and walk by it without any cognitive energy spent. We won't give a damn about it. It's only when something stands out of the norm will we expend energy, cognitive effort to smash it back down. The nail that sticks out gets hammered. Japanese proverb. But in doing so, by paying for his fights to watch him hopefully get smashed ironically, through your attention, humanity's most valuable commodity, it will only validate that he was making the right decision whether he likes it or not. And the answer is, he doesn't actually.
I don't do this for that, but I understand that it's a double-edged sword and you must do that.
This leads to another question. If Conor is actually a nice guy and is doing all of this because you want this from him, is Conor the one you should really hate? All along, Conor, a man engineered to what you give attention to, is what you hated? Wouldn't what you hate be yourself if that was true? Think about it. You don't want to change. You don't want to resonate with him, because if you were to, it would make you question your own existence. It would make you wonder, if he could do it, why can't I? When something stands out, we as humans instinctively want to stomp it back down. Why? Because if it's correct, we would have to go along with it, changing our current belief structures, thus our way of life to adapt, and that takes a lot of energy. Change is very hard. We'd rather lie than accept the truth in most cases, make excuses despite a huge track record of success, saying it was all luck, that it never should have happened. Conor haters don't hate Conor. They hate themselves. People who truly don't give a damn won't pay attention. They give attention because he conflicts with their own internal paradigm of how things should be, and so they must hate him, because the alternative is hating a part of themselves, and that hurts. They hate him because they hate themselves. He makes them wonder, if him, why not me? That's a good question. Why not you? You're right. What does make him so special? Why can't you be just as special, not just in fighting, but more specifically your own walk of life? Is that the message you've been running away from this entire time? The one you avoid to deny the sparkle of hope from rekindling in your eyes because you hate where you are. This world and everything so much, it all feels so helpless, and your heart is already so heavy from it all. Ignoring any power you could have to change it for the better, because in doing so, you would have to stop rejecting the world and instead reject all the things about yourself that kept your fingertips at bay. You would have to feel the pain of analyzing, then rejecting yourself. That hope Conor inspires either makes you love him or hate him, and we can all feel it. But we don't spend the time to understand it, skipping to a bunch of cliches of how morally wrong it is on the surface, when that, in and of itself, is a complete irony. He does it for you, and in doing it for you, he does it for his family. So, back to that question. Should you be allowed to believe in yourself? Thank you, Conor McGregor, for this lesson. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you did. It's good karma, and until next time, peace.
Some people will sit and take positivity from that. They will look at that and take inspiration and inspire. It will inspire them to go and push for that. Others will shell up and critique it and be negative towards it. But one thing is for sure, those people will stay where they are. The people who take inspiration from it will rise up and also one day experience that life. So